So why do I have the disturbed look on my face? Because this is things we can laugh about now. So, but at the time, this particular story was one for the books. It could have been in my book that I wrote. I might make the next one. But let me tell you about it. What happened? So picture this being some blinds. I don't have any blinds like from a box, a bag, or whatever. So picture this being some temporary blinds, right? So my client had blinds, they had temporary blinds installed, but I wanted them all to match. So I like my things to be done a certain way for staging. So I wanted them all to match. So I went to one of the home box stores, I won't name which one, and went to get them. Can't remember how much they were. I think they were less than $10 a piece, or they were less than $10. So I installed them. So I needed a step stool, like a 3-step stool, and I installed them, had to cut them, size them to the windows. That's fine. House gets under contract, everything's smooth. I don't want y'all to always think stuff happens at the end, but usually the drama always happens at the end of a deal. It usually doesn't happen in the beginning. Everything is smooth in the beginning, but boom, drama. But it happens. It doesn't always happen in the middle, doesn't always happen at the end, but it seems like mine happens at the end sometimes. It's not me, it's not my fault. But in this particular story, I found it very necessary that we have to follow up and go and see things with our own eyes. Not saying that we can't believe our clients or we can't believe that somebody's going to do what they say they're going to do, because they may have done everything correctly, but just one thing was missed or forgotten. Oh, I didn't know I was supposed to do that. So we're going to get into that. So go to the house, make sure everything is clean and tidy or whatever. And it didn't register for me at the time, because I'm just looking for cleanliness. I didn't think, oh, look at the windows. I didn't think to look at the windows. Didn't look at the windows. I saw them, they were clean. So then I leave, blah, blah, blah. Everything's wonderful with the world. And ring, ring, I get this phone call the day of walkthrough. Remember, I'm representing the seller in this story. You have to understand context. So they're doing a walkthrough, and the agent says, hey. Well, she doesn't say hey. She's like, oh, she never could say my name right, but anyway. So she says, I think, did she call them blinds? I want to say she didn't call them blinds. She called them curtains. And I was like, there's no curtains in that. I mean, I had a couple deals going on at the time. I was like, there's no curtains there at that house. So, and she's like, oh, well, no, they're blinds. And I said, okay, well, that's sort of correct still. They're actually temporary blinds. But the issue was the blinds were removed. My client got rid of them when they moved out. And I was just at the house, but I didn't think to look and see, oh, the blinds are gone. So we went back and forth on this for like 30 minutes because she did not believe that they were temporary blinds. That shows you just how much skill you have. I put up some temporary blinds and fooled them. I wasn't trying to fool them to think that they were blinds, but she thought that they were blinds. And I'm like, well, if they were blinds, then you would see some drill holes in the wall. So then I had to pull the receipts and show her that they were temporary blinds. And actually, I didn't think anything of it, because what I thought, this is why you should never assume. We know when that word, what happens when you break that word down. I'm not going to get into that, but we know what that means. So I give her the receipts. So she talks to her client, and her client's like, well, well, we don't want to close. And they were closing that day, by the way. Like within like an hour or so. Like all of this within an hour. And I'm nowhere near the house. Of where I am is like an hour away from the house. Well, I won't say an hour, it's 40 minutes. But, you got to get whatever you need. So when she calls me, I'm sitting in front of this home box store. Because I feel like I'm going to have to go in here and buy some blinds. Right? I'm going to have to go and take care of this. So she finally calls me and we agree that as long as the temporary blinds are reinstalled before they close, they will close. So, where am I? I'm in front of the box store. I know I gotta buy them. Didn't get out of the car because I was like, well, I don't know how this is going to transpire, but I'm here. I'm waiting for the phone call back. So I needed some proof from her. I was like, what exactly do you need? What color do you need? I wanted all of that in place. So for some reason that day, sorry for the pause. For that day, I actually had the step stool ladder in my car. Actually, why did I have it in my car? I remember. I had it in my car because I had one of those, the type of door it was, you couldn't put a lockbox, so I had the hanging thing on top of the door so the lockbox could hang. So that's why I had the tools in my car. So I had the step stool because, these were tall windows. So there's no way I could fix the window, how tall they were, without the step stool. So then I didn't have my scissors. This is why you gotta have a Realtor kit. So look below and make sure you get these things. You gotta have your zip ties, you gotta have your tape, scissors. You have to have all this stuff as an agent. We do a lot for people that people don't see behind the scenes. They think we do nothing. We do more. We deal with the drama and the ignorance of other people. I won't say ignorance, a lack of education. I'll sugarcoat it that way. So then I tell my client real fast what happens. They're like, okay, I'll do it. I was like, no, because she's adamant about how this needs to look. I will handle it because, mind you, my clients had to go to settlement. You don't have time to go to the store, install them before the other buyers, because the seller was closing, then the buyer was closing right after them within like an hour time. So they didn't have time to do this, to settle and then go back to the house because settlement was across town. I was closer. I could handle it before they could go. So I do all that and then take pictures, leave the key there, send them video as proof. I did photos and video, time stamp. And I said, here you go. Here's what it is. I set it up how it was. There it is. So I say that all to say is make sure a person understands what they're getting, because the lack of, understanding what something is can be misconstrued. If somebody is expecting something to look a certain way, they want it to look that same way. Do not, as my grandma would say, don't bother that. Leave it how it is. If you have a question about something, if you're a seller, ask your agent, if you're reading this, if you're somewhere else, or if you'd like to hire me. Ask your agent, does this stay or does this need to be removed, or can it stay? Is the buyer okay with it remaining in the house? Because it might not be in the contract, but make sure that they're okay with it. Because I've had an instance where sellers left stuff in the house. And I was like, you can't leave that. They don't want that. That's your personal stuff. It's not a fix attached, not in the contracts. It is not to remain. They do not want your couches. They do not want your rugs. They do not want your bathroom stuff. Not unless it was attached and it was agreed on that you said that you wanted it to stay. So this is my rants for today's video on things we can laugh about now. So basically what I'm saying is I put my elbow grease into my properties and make sure things are done. So agents do a lot of things behind the scenes that you do not see and that you would never know about. So you can go on with your transaction and never know. Things are done that you never know. We deal with the difficult agents. We deal with the difficult loan officers or the difficult transactions that you never have to see. There's things that you will never know that happen in real estate. And this gives me an idea for another video. Make it a great day, and thank you so much for watching. If you have any real estate questions, give me a call at 240-284-4114.